Hey now, welcome to R&Y. I'm Lisa. If you're interested in learning what happens to you during pre-testing for your bariatric surgery, stay tuned. Alright, and we're back. I got the day off. Had to take a day off to go do pre-testing, something that you have to do before you go to surgery. It's mandatory. And so I'm just going to discuss my experience and what I had to do for my pre-testing. So it was scheduled for 7 a.m. So of course you get up at 5:30, travel across town through the rain this morning, but I made it safely around 6:45, a little early. And they explain, and you register, check in the hospital, and they explain what's going to happen throughout the day, and you realize it's going to be a long day. They told me that they were used to at least 6 to 8 people, but I was the only one going through pre-testing that day. So I felt special, I guess, you know. But anyway, regardless, first person I met with was the triage nurse, I guess you would call her, and she took blood. She did my EKG. She did my medical history, and she explained to me what was going to happen that day a little bit more detail. Because I had to come in fasting that day, I could not eat after midnight. After I was done with the triage nurse, I went and had breakfast. They came and got me from breakfast, and we went to what I would call what to expect prior to surgery, during surgery, and after surgery. She was the bariatric nurse that would be handling, I would be on her floor, on her team. So I watched a video on how to not be readmitted to the hospital after my surgery, and things to avoid, you know, being readmitted. One being walking after surgery. Within the first 4 hours, they said that you should be up walking, and then walk every 4 hours. Wear your compression socks to help blood clots. Also use your breathing machine, and to sip water to avoid dehydration. Dehydration is the #1 reason why people are admitted back into the hospital. So they want to avoid that, and you want to sip, sip, sip. All I heard today was sip, sip, sip. And because water is just so important after surgery, and so they wanted to instill that sense of how important water is, you know, after surgery. So once I got done watching that, and we went through, we got a booklet here. I got a booklet, and it just walked through, and she walked through, you know, step by step of what to expect, what to do prior to surgery, preparing your body, your mind, and your medications and things like that for what to do prior to surgery. For those of you that do take medications, we walk through after surgery, what will happen, how I will come back down to the floor after surgery, when family can come back in and see me. She did say I would have a pain pump that I would have draining my incisions after surgery, as well as at home I would have pain pump. I call it surgical drain. We walk through discharge instructions, what to do and not to do after I get discharged from home, signs, red flags of any issues after surgery, that would be a concern, and I would need to call them or come back in the hospital. One being fatigue, things to do if I did get constipated, things to do to avoid constipation, and what to do if I got diarrhea, gas, or bloating. So it's a real good book on what to expect physically from the surgery. So this is a good book that I plan on reading a lot. So after I was done with the bariatric nurse, a nutrition specialist came in, and we discussed all the phases of what I'm to eat prior to surgery, after surgery, and beyond. I thought I would have to do a liquid diet. I do not. I can continue to eat a healthy diet. They prefer you for it to be lean and green is what they explain it. Lean, lean protein and leafy vegetables. Eat that prior to surgery. I don't have to do a liquid diet, although I'm going to incorporate more liquids, getting at least my 64 ounces a day, as well as smoothies. So I'm going to try to increase my liquids more during the next week and a half. What else? She went through the phases. The phases being clear liquids, which is, you'll eat ice chips and drink sip water, during the 2 days that you're in the hospital. Then you move to full liquids, which is once you're discharged from the hospital, to up to 14 days. And I was surprised to find the full liquids, like stuff like oatmeal is on there, yogurt. I can see yogurt more than oatmeal, but oatmeal is on full liquids. Cream soups, like cream of mushroom, chicken, tomato soups are on there. Hot cocoa, skim milk, pudding, things like that are on the full liquids, and that's, like I said, 14 days. Next phase is the puree stage, which is 3 to 4 weeks. Weeks 3 and 4, and then soft foods is week 5 and 6, and then week 7 is when you can eat a regular diet. Okay, so we went through those stages. The book also has recipes, easy recipes. Especially I like the smoothie recipes because I plan to use smoothies a lot. I think they're really healthy for you and they taste really great. Then we went and talked about protein. Like, protein was its own little discussion, and how to get protein in. She explained, how we can use protein powder. You can use it in your meals, in your smoothies, in your soups, things like that. Because, there's no way with a small pouch of a stomach you can just eat. They recommend 65 to 75 grams of protein a day. So it's like, how are you going to eat that much chicken with a small pouch, So you get it in, you supplement it. And this is one of the ways that you can do it. What else did we discuss with the nutritionists? We discussed vitamins. We discussed, again, water and how to get it in. Sip, 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 sip all day long. Sip, sip, sip. 64 ounces. Now, all of the food and nutrition stuff, she explained, they don't expect you to do it, right out of the hospital, right after surgery. Is to work your way up to 64 ounces, 65 to 75 grams of protein, and then as much as 64 ounces of water a day. You got to work your way up till you just had major surgery. You're not going to be able to do it week of. So they explain that part, be realistic with it. Also, things to avoid to eat, like carbonated water, alcohol, caffeine. I'm not a big caffeine drinker, so I'm good. what else? I think that's it. So after I saw the nutritionist, I went back in and saw, like, I would say the admitting department, like, they're the ones that explain everything that I to do prior to surgery. So they gave me my bag of goodies. They told me that I am to drink 2 Ensure 12 hours prior to surgery, so this would be around midnight, and then 2 hours before surgery, drink 1. This is to help clear my stomach contents as well as lower my blood sugar. She also explained how I'm to take the shower. I'm not to use my own soaps. I have to use this Hebe Cleanse. The day before surgery and the day of surgery. I have to wash with this and then rinse. They also provided me with the spirator, breathing machine. They want me to right now practice breathing, open up my lungs, clear my lungs prior to surgery, and of course after surgery I have to breathe 10 times an hour with the machine. So once I was done with the admitting nurse, and she explained, you know, where to go, how to register, how where my family is to sit while my surgery, and all the admitting things I have to do that day. After I was done with her, then the nurse practitioner came in and did a physical on me, make sure he looked at my numbers because they got my blood work back. All my numbers looked okay. They were still concerned with my liver enzymes, and I'm going to discuss that with my surgeon when I meet with him on the 22nd. And I'm also going to discuss with him my hiatal hernia, because they said it wasn't on the list for him to fix. So I'm going to need him. I'm going to call him today and have them add that as something for us to discuss, because they said it wasn't on the list for something to fix, but it needs fixed because I had after breakfast this morning I had heartburn. So that's my experience for pre-testing. If you have any questions, hit them below. Like, comment, and subscribe. That word is subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video.